Hello, babe.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I don't know why it sounded so weird. Good. Why do you look tired?
Huh?
You look tired.
Because of the weight of responsibility that's bestowed upon me of being such a great husband and father.
Yep. I feel that.
Were you ready to record today?
Huh?
Were you ready to record today?
Yeah.
Mentally?
Uh. What does that mean?
You were ready for today.
I mean, I don't really mentally prepare for this.
So what do you do?
Just do it.
Just do it? Yeah, because we do it every day.
Yeah, because, like, having a conversation with you, I don't. Unless it's, like, something difficult for me, I don't really need to prepare for it.
Hmm.
So, like, oh, we're just talking.
Yep. So what are we going to get into today?
Life. Just kidding. What are we getting into? Very important topic.
Well, first off, welcome back
Oh,
to
yeah.
another episode
Hi, everyone.
of our podcast. Show. Forgot. Show podcast. It's whatever people want to call it at this point.
But you want to call it a show. So let's go with show.
Let's go with show. All right. So today we're
Welcome.
going to get into a very interesting topic. It's a topic that I believe wholeheartedly, we believe wholeheartedly has been a major catalyst to why our relationship is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that people know, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to relationships and stuff like that. And yeah, I think without this part, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah.
Let's say it like that in that way. Maybe we would not be together. Worst case scenario. But for the men listening, this is a topic that I'm gonna uh, bring up because there's a lot of men out there who want their wives to be submissive. They want them to. They want to lead their marriage. They want to have the ability to lead their family, right, and have the space to do so. And again, this piece that we're going to talk about today, at least for me and for our relationship, that was kind of like the key for us to, for her to be submissive to the quote unquote leader of the house,
Mm-hmm.
to the tribal chief. That's right. Oh, but yeah, it's it's very important. I think this is crucial. I think it's more important than people make it to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very surface level. It is truly deep. And if you take the time to do what you need to do as a husband, I can I don't want to guarantee you, but I can I can testify on my behalf that this has worked for me and I see it work for many other couples as well. Have a fulfilling and fruitful relationship. And the relationship that they want actually, that both of them want.
Yeah.
You want to let them know what it is?
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say?
I mean, I guess I spoke about on the behalf of men.
Mm-hmm.
How about women? You being a very independent woman, someone who didn't want to be, who didn't trust enough to be submissive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like why this specific part about what we're going to talk about today, why that kind of helped you. Bless you. She's allergic to being submissive sometimes. Just kidding. She likes it.
Which is funny because it was really hard to let go of the
Yeah.
control that I think like independent women nowadays have. Like, it's hard to let go of the control.
Yeah, and it causes a lot of relationships to end
Mm-hmm.
because the man is not given the space and opportunity to lead, and the woman sees that or doesn't see that in a sense. All she sees is that this guy's not leading me, and I'm having to always be the one that is leading, kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Why are you even here?" But they don't see that. They see the surface level stuff. They see the problems, and they try to keep control of everything.
Yeah. Um, I think that, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to say first what it is?
Well, first
Because
say
I'm
how.
about to mention it.
Yeah, you can mention it too.
I think that one of the biggest reasons why I was able to start trusting you a lot more
Mm-hmm.
was because you believed
Believed in what? In
in God.
myself, in you, in us, in.
Yeah, and all of that, but your big belief in God
Mm.
was what allowed me to at least open the door to like let you in.
Do you know why?
Why what?
Why? Why that is the thing that opened the door.
Well, I mean, let's just go back to my relationship with God.
Hmm. Another man.
Another man, but the only man that I truly trusted always.
No.
Um, I've not always gone to church, but ever since I was a little girl, I've always had a relationship with God.
No.
So the only man that I could ever trust 100% always has been God,
Hmm.
because He's always led me to a better path than
Yep.
I would take myself.
Yep. So there you have it, man. Is you being
Podcast is over.
willing.
I mean, show is over.
Because it's also about practicing.
Yeah.
How is that? I'm sure they want to hear like, okay, I believe too, but my wife's not submissive.
Yeah, no, and I think that's why it was important to talk about this so early on into the show, because I think that we are, as like a society, we are so separated from God,
Yeah.
because of religion and
Poor experiences. They
yeah, and all of that. So
human experiences that they compare like to like why did God allow this and like,
yeah, yeah,
no, he
like
didn't.
always trying to find blame on something
Yeah.
or someone. Um, so I was like, well, we really need to talk about it now, because we can give all the tools that we want on how we've been able to create a deep and amazing relationship between you and I. But
Mhm.
I feel like if God is not the center of that, then, or what do you think? Like, do you think a relationship can actually function in a way where it's like deep and loving and caring
Trusting where you can be again submissive and I have the space to lead
without God being the center of it? Do you think that's possible?
because it's kind of like asking a Christian if they believe in God. The answer is like, yeah, of course they're going to believe in God. So I'm biased to say no. Like, no, I can't figure out. And the reason being is because of we've tried it before
Yeah.
to try to be led by someone who is not God.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, and even to that extent, the reason why it's him and not some other relationship guru out there. Even us, we're not even saying listen to us. It's for me. It's always I learned that it always has to be God. The way that I learned is by following humans in relationship advice, in
Mm-hmm.
money advice, business advice, whatever, being a man kind of thing. and every single one of them failed me personally.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't fail as people, they just failed me as to what I needed, what I was looking for. And to this day, the only person who has fulfilled, or the only being who has fulfilled that within me and has never failed me, is God. It's Jesus Christ.
Same. Like, because we know that he's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we know that everything that he does, his plan and everything is perfect. It's just like, like, there's nothing that God can't do that, it's gonna lead us into like something bad,
Yeah.
right? So I honestly feel like there's no relationship out there that can survive or that can be good or that can be amazing without God being the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way. Like, we're gonna say stuff that people are not gonna like. We're gonna say stuff that people are gonna like, but there's nothing that God has ever done that is not good.
Yeah. And this is very cultural. I want to say that because I don't know how long ago I heard, I saw like a short or a video of another podcast where this guy went to India, I think, or somewhere in the Middle East,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife was blonde, blue eyed kind of thing. So she was like, she stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And he stood out too because they weren't, I mean, he was Mexican, so he doesn't really stand. A little bit. But like the wife was like blonde, blue eyed, tall, whatever. So she stood out to people. And to locals in the Middle East, I think they went to a Catholic church. It was like very run down, ran by this couple. And the couple wanted to take a picture with her. And the couple, husband and wife, the husband was like, he threw a phone at the wife and he said, throw a picture at me. Oh, throw a picture, sorry. Take a picture with me with this woman, with this blonde woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, the guy who's the husband of the blonde girl was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's your wife. Why? How are you disrespecting your wife that way in front of her, kind of thing? And he's, I think, a relation or psychologist, like relationship, whatever. Um, so he was shocked, like, why are you doing that? And then the wife did the same thing. Like, oh, now it's my turn. So she also wanted to take a picture with a woman. And he was speaking with a friend about that situation, and he learned, like, dude, they're together because they have the same morals.
Mm.
They share the same principles. They have survived through so many things. So they know they can trust each other. It's not about love. It's not about anything. Is that they know they've gone through this period of tough, broke, whatever, and they made it through. So no matter what happens in their life, they know that they're gonna stick together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that made me think like, oh, okay. So it differs, like relationships differ based on culture,
Mm.
which is crazy to me. But that's why I say, like, for us right now in this type of culture that we have here in the United States, all those westernized parts of the world, you need a good leader. It's
Mm-hmm.
not because we have you have the option to really bounce and go work and make even more money than I'm making right now.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean that can be an option for you
Mm-hmm.
here in this part of the world. Right in the Middle East, it could be harder because of religion purposes, all that stuff, culture, society. It can be harder for a woman to do that over there. So she's kind of like how women were here before the 60s and the 70s,
Yeah.
where people stuck around because, again, same morals, same principles, but hey, together we can make it through, kind of thing. Now we have a lot more freedom. And with more freedom, we need way more guidance with that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the self discipline to be like, okay, I have this so much freedom. That doesn't mean I have to abuse it, use it and abuse it, kind of thing. I need to bring myself back to what I need, not just what I want.
Yeah.
And I think that's hearing that story and then comparing it to our relationship. that is why it's crucial for God to be in our life even more and in our relationship. And I believe in any relationship in general. But, culture differences and all that stuff affect relationships as well to a certain extent. But because we have such a free society in a sense, then we need to kind of be willing in our own accord to humble ourselves and be like, okay, I need you, God.
Mm-hmm.
All this freedom, I love it, awesome, but help me not stray away this path that is too dark, because then it'll end this way for my family and I don't want that kind of thing. Because yeah, we're not in an environment where you're tying down to me. It's you choose to.
Mm-hmm.
You choose to continue to be in this relationship, right? We're choosing to. We're
Yeah.
not, again, we're not shackled to each other. We have the freedom. We have the quote unquote option for me también to bounce and do whatever I want to do, because whatever. So, because of that, we need a good leader. We need someone who will lead us the right way to where we need to be as a couple. And yeah, that's why I believe it's truly important, especially in this part of the world, to have a perfect human being, or who was a perfect human being, um, leading our marriage.
Mm-hmm. Um, I feel like, in a sense, somebody once told me, this was a married couple, and I don't know what me and the wife were talking about, but I think he had like a work environment where it was known for men to cheat on their wives.
Hmm.
And I think I asked her, like, aren't you, does that ever worry you that like he will cheat on you?
Mm-hmm.
And she told me no. And then she said, because if he ever does decide to do something that will hurt me,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna have to take that up with God,
Yep.
not me. And that like shifted like my perspective, because I was like, yeah, like I've always trusted God ever since I can remember. Like I can trust that he'll take care of me. So I know that, and that's why like it's like not a worry to me either, because I'm like yeah, like if you do something that you know that I'm not like it's not gonna be me to that you're gonna have to like, how do I say it, be scared of.
Hmm.
It's gonna have to be him.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people are so afraid to even like go to a church, because of their, I guess, like worry of like how it's gonna make them feel.
Yeah. It's crazy how people who don't go to church because they're afraid of X, Y, and Z, they're already kind of like prejudging themselves based on what
Yeah,
they think God would say.
yeah,
So they think that they're not worthy enough.
yeah. And I mean, like I think a lot of people tell themselves a story of something, because it could be like not that they're scared, but like they had a bad experience because somebody in the church said something, or people are looking at them this way or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I did want to kind of talk about the whole like us going to church,
Mm-hmm.
because when you and I met, you were going to church.
Yes.
I wasn't, right? I hadn't been to church. I think, I mean, I went to mass when I was pregnant with my son,
Mm-hmm.
because I had like a pregnancy scare, and one of my friends, like, she took me to mass.
Hmm.
Um before that, like, I hadn't been to church in, I don't know, maybe like 5 years.
Hmm. Why?
And that is because I started being in relationships where the men didn't go to church.
Hmm.
Maybe some didn't believe in God. Maybe, I don't know. But it wasn't like a big thing. My belief in God has always been there, regardless of who I date
Mm-hmm.
or who I dated. Like, I always prayed. I always, like, thank God. I always had my moments. But if I wasn't, like, taken to church, I wouldn't go.
If you were not led.
Once I was an adult. Because when I was a teenager, like, I took myself to church all the time.
Yeah. Once you had the free will.
Yeah. So when you and I met, you went to church, your family went to church, and I don't even remember how you invited me or how you even like just like took me to church.
Just casual, like, hey, I'm going to church. You want to go?
Do you remember? Cuz I don't remember. Like, I don't ever remember like you asking me to go to church.
Yeah, it's just casual, like, hey, I'm going to church. You want to go? And for you to just be with me, you just are like, yeah, I just want to be with you. Like a lot of our life, and this is another thing for the men, is a lot of our sorry. A la 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 la. That's the first words I said to her when we met.
Oh my gosh.
She's looking at me with those green eyes. I'm like,
Stop. A
that's
lot
the
of
purpose of these pillows, man. Most of our relationship, the reason why, I don't want to say the reason, but most of our relationship, I've just gone, and you just followed.
Yeah.
However, it's not like you followed in the wrong direction. Like there was a certain trust that you had. Like, okay, well, this guy's going this way. I think that direction is good for me, and I want to be with him. So I'm just gonna. He's not deviating from it. So we're
Yeah,
just gonna
like
go.
it's not, it wasn't like, oh, he's doing something bad, but I want to be with him, so I'm gonna go. It wasn't
Yeah.
like that. Like I've been in relationships where I'm like, oh my God, do I really want to be in this scenario or do I really want to be in this environment?
Yeah.
Um, and you weren't, I'm not saying like you weren't doing stuff you weren't doing bad stuff, but you were most of the time doing something good, something to better yourself.
Yeah.
And that is like a huge thing
Yeah.
for me when a man has a purpose.
Yeah. And that's like I think that's the outside of God leading your marriage, that's like the second thing up there that men need in order for their wives to be able to be submissive is you need to have a vision. I don't know if you guys have heard, but men without vision shall perish. And again, it's very true. There's men in my life who live life like they have no vision.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I mean, that's their life. It's not like they're living a bad life or a sinful life. It's just they're just going through the motions kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at least for the type of woman she is, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And also for the type of man that I am, I'm not just one to just be there, existing, taking up airspace. It's I've always my character's always been let's do something. So when we met, I was into bodybuilding. I was going to school and the bodybuilding stuff. I didn't even ask for permission. It's like, can I go to the gym kind of thing? Can I be a sponsored athlete kind of thing? It was just, hey, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And she didn't like it, of course, because it intervened in our relationships in some way. I was working hard and all that stuff. But she respected the fact that I was still pursuing my dream and I wasn't letting anything stop it. Even our fairly new relationship. So she kind of had no choice in a sense, but to be like, okay, well, I guess he's not deviating from it, so I'm gonna go join him, kind of thing. And it was with business, with work, with even podcasts, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
with the multiple kids we have. And because she knew no matter what, and during those financial scares that we lived through, is I whenever she's stressed about it, I asked her, "Do you believe I'll let my family starve?" And she knew the answer was no. Like, I will do whatever I can to at least make sure our family is good, and then once that's good and we have whatever extra, then put it into these things, put it into serving you guys to help you guys, because yeah, relationships are good. Relationships are a dying breed, and we want to. They're going extinct, and we want to save them as much as possible because they're needed.
Yeah, like that's what this whole show is about. If you didn't get it from the last episodes, like this show is mostly just to help couples and families stay together that learn to have a relationship that is something that you are proud of, something that is good for you and your family,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's not kind of like in the old times of like you're just together for the kids. But
Or because there's no other choice.
yeah, because there's no other choice, but that you grow together so that when the kids do leave, you stay together.
Yep.
And going back to like the whole thing about you going to church and me following. It's funny because like not too long ago somebody told me, like, somebody who's seen my other relationships said,
Hmm.
"Thank God that you found a man who loves God."
Hmm. Who said that?
And I hadn't even thought about that for like, I mean, we've been together for 12 years. This was like months ago.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even thought about that. And I was like, that's true. That is something that I didn't really consider.
What?
Like when I started being in a relationship with you, it wasn't something like, oh, he needs to, have a relationship with God.
Hmm.
Because my whole like relationship life, it was more of like, I need to survive, so I need somebody to keep me safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it wasn't like he needs to have a relationship with God. Because I hadn't had a relationship like that.
Yeah.
So when she said that, I was like, huh, that's true. I was like, thank God. Because it wasn't part of my list. I didn't put it on my list of like, God, I really need him to like go to church and take me with him.
Yeah. And kind of another piece, because it's not that I had a relationship with God, but the religion that I practiced at the time that we were dating was different from the one that you did.
Yeah.
Mine was Catholic, yours was Christian.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
like,
mean, I technically did both because
technically,
I
I
I
mean,
like
but
I
at,
was a Catholic.
but at the time that we were dating, you identified as a Christian. I don't even know.
No, I was
You
confused. I was confused, you guys. Listen, just to give you a little background, I grew up, my relationship with God started with my grandmother. She taught me to not so much go to church because she would take me to church, but she taught me how to talk to God, how to have a relationship, and to always trust in Him.
Mm-hmm.
She was a devout, like, Christian, like, and I mean, I know there's all kinds of different, but like, she was one of those that, like, covered up. Um, I don't know. But when we would go to church, so in the Christian church that she would take me, they would always separate the adults from the kids,
Mm.
right? The kids would go to like their little classes to learn, and the adults would stay in like the main church area. My grandma never made me go.
Mm.
Like, she never forced me to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to.
Mm.
Like, I always wanted to be by her side. I was like scared. So she never forced me, so I would stay with her, and I would see her like worship and cry and jump, and it would weird me out a little bit, but her devotion to God was like something that I admired.
Mm.
Right? So when my grandma got sick, I was already older. Like, she was already pretty sick. We moved away. When I went to live with my dad, his new wife was very was a I'm not gonna say devoted Catholic, but she was in the choir. Like, she was always going to church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to the point where sometimes my dad would go too, and my dad never went to church. Even though his mom was a Christian, like, my dad was like, So he would go to church. So she would take us. And my thing wasn't like, oh no, I'm a Christian, so I can't go to Catholic church. It was like, I just need to be with God. Like, it doesn't matter what church I go to, like, as long as we are worshiping God, listening to the Bible, take me.
Mm-hmm.
So she would take me. Well, we would all go, and she knew, like, because in being a Catholic, you gotta have sacraments, right? And she knew that I had never been baptized. I had never done my first communion. I was already 14. So she signed me up. And I mean, I never said no. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just did what they told me.
Not knowing that God was leading you through her.
Yeah. So I was like, so, I mean, I laugh about it because I was a teenager in like little chairs for like, because when you do your first communion, you're like 7 or
No.
7, 6, 8. So there was like little chairs, little desk, and like the kids thought that I was like an assistant to the teacher, not knowing that I was barely learning how to pray. Like,
Calling her Miss.
yeah, or like learn the prayers, right? So
Yeah.
I laugh about it because it was crazy. Like, I was just there. And then, time went on, and I stayed there, and then I did my next sacrament, which when I was a teenager, like, I signed up myself, right? Most of my family on my dad's side, other than my dad and a few others, are Christian. They followed my grandmother to church. So I already knew that was there, right? When I left and I just got distracted, like being an adult and
Yeah.
being in relationships that were
So you
not,
had the free will.
were not good for me, I stopped going to church. And then when I came back to my city where most of my family is, I didn't, because I had like never gone to a Catholic church here.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know like where I was like supposed to go. So I just didn't go. But when I saw you going to church, I was like, am I supposed to be here? Like, is this where I belong? Like, I was so confused. I had no idea. Like, I I wasn't being led. Like, even though I never really even asked God, like, where do you want me?
Mm.
I I I don't even think I would listen. Like, I was just confused. I was like, I've been a Christian and I've been a Catholic. Like, I don't know where I need to be.
Mm.
So I would go to church with you, but at some point I know that I decided to go to my uncle's church, which is
Mm.
a Christian church. Um
I didn't go with you.
no, you didn't want to. You're like, "Oh no."
I've been to it. Like,
And
it's
I
a
was
bit
like
too much for my.
and I was like, so me and Abel went, and I expressed to my uncle, like, I'm like, I don't, I go to Catholic, yeah, like, I go to Catholic mass, but I don't know if I belong there. And he told me, well, you've always been a Christian. And I think he just didn't know that I had gone to like mass before. That I,
Catholic mass.
yeah,
Hmm.
that I had like done my first communion and everything. But he's like, oh, you've always been a Christian. This is where you belong. This is what you, like, your grandma taught you to come. But then I never, like, my grandma never, it wasn't about the religion. It was all about God,
Hmm.
right? So I was there and I was like, I don't think this is where I belong. But I don't know.
The Christian or the.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
Christian. It wasn't until your mom mentioned about First Communion for Abel,
Mm-hmm.
because he was at that age. She's like, oh, you don't plan to put him? And I was like, huh, maybe I should. I don't know why. I was like, yeah, why not? Like, how is it gonna hurt him? You
Yeah.
know? Like, if I hadn't done a good job to kind of bring him up in a God loving relationship,
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, there's like, it's not gonna hurt him to go. And I'm not practicing anything right now.
Yeah.
So we signed him up, and it wasn't until we went to the class that parents hate to go because they're like, oh, why does the church make me go to these things and all of that, right?
It's the family thing, not just the kids.
Yeah. So
Sometimes us we have to be reminded. I mean.
in our church, like, they're like, oh, okay, the parents need to come to it was called like the 9 Mondays, and they would talk about certain topics. And I think, like, for the past, maybe, I think it had been like 2 years, I had been asking. That's when I started asking God, like, where do you want me? Like, where should I go to be in a place where I can worship you and feel like I'm part of the church?
Mm-hmm.
And in one of those classes, the lady that was giving it, she said something. I don't remember what it was. Like, I don't even know what it was. Like, it was something that, like, it just like hit my soul. Like, I remember feeling like, oh,
I think they were talking about why maybe a Catholic religion is the one true religion or the religion that God created. And she was like stating certain facts of like what Jesus Christ did when he was here and why we still practice that.
mm, I don't know what it was, but I just remember, like, it hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is where I belong. And in that moment, after that moment, I realized that it wasn't because I went to mass before. I
Mm-hmm.
learned all of this, and I went to, the Christian church, and I never felt like I belonged ever.
Mm.
But then once that changed, it made me realize that it wasn't the church itself, the
Mm.
religion. It was me.
Mm.
It was me that I wasn't opening myself enough to feel God's love, to feel God's grace, to the point that if anybody did something wrong at the church or like something happened, that it wasn't going to affect me
Mm.
because I wasn't there just for the people, I was there for Him.
Mm-hmm.
And I started seeing it that way ever since. And I'm not saying this like for you guys to be like, oh, like she's trying to make us Catholic. Like, no.
Nope.
It's for you guys to understand that it doesn't matter where you go or what you practice. What matters is that you understand that God is there for you and for your relationship and for your family. And just worshiping Him is what brings us together.
Yep.
Because we go to Mass and our kids are total chaos sometimes. They're sometimes good, sometimes like today, our little one was over the top. Crying like every 15 minutes.
Yep.
And I don't always get to listen to everything, right? But there is moments in the Mass that I block the noise and I just let it all in. And that's all I need, just those moments.
Yeah.
And there's people that look at us like, oh, like they can't control their kids. And then there's people that are like, oh my gosh, like regardless of how their kids are, they still come
Yep.
to church. They don't make that an excuse.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. No one has told me anything, so
yeah, nobody's gonna tell you.
I don't know if it's because of my face.
You have a kind face.
I just don't care what they think. I'm like, all right. Well,
Yeah, I don't either. But I know that
'cause
there's people that do.
if those people are judging at church, they don't belong around my family anywhere near. Even at that church at that point. So I'm like, dude, you're here at church. See that guy up there who's crucified? He's the only one that can judge. And he still doesn't judge. So why are you judging?
Well, like you always say, like hurt people want to hurt people.
Yeah.
So they're hurt. So and maybe they feel judged. So like, and I say feel judged because I'm pretty sure they're judging themselves.
Yeah.
So they feel judged, so they gotta judge others. But I don't care either. Like I'm very proud of us for doing what we do.
Yeah.
What?
As you can see, my wife is very passionate.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Oh, am I making this 30-minute show into an hour?
You're making it into a show. We say all this not to try to recruit you. If any religion tries to recruit you, then that means that the purpose is a lot of that religion is to recruit and not really about who it's supposed to be, which is God. And I mean, for me, I just find religion just simple practices of getting you back to center, which is God. So whatever religion helps you with that,
Yeah, like
go ahead, dude.
yeah, I love that because I feel like when we hang out with other couples that are maybe not Catholic, like
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, oh, like my friend told me that time that we were at her house, like, oh, maybe you'll come back, and I'm like, but why? I'm happy here. Like, why are
Yeah.
you trying to take me somewhere else?
This is what I practice that helps me connect to God
Yeah.
in a deep way.
Yeah, and I feel like the most important thing is practice what takes you closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it is. Well, it kind of does matter, but
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody. or
yeah,
yourself.
like know that
Like if you're whipping yourself, like that dude from the Da Vinci Code, and then while praying, like don't do that. That's not good.
like practice what takes you closer to God. Well, what if it does take them closer to God though?
No.
Haven't you seen that movie about
The guy whipping himself?
no. What is it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. But like he was getting hurt, like he was in physical pain.
That he made to himself?
No. But yeah, practice whatever makes you happy as long as it's taking you closer to God. Like
Yeah.
it's not, I really think that nowadays it doesn't really, it's not so much like where you go, but if it's taking you closer to God, then that's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because nowadays, like people are like, oh, I'm not gonna go to church because I'm being judged, or because the priest is a whatever, or
Now
the
you're just,
pastor is doing this.
yeah, you're putting people in between you and God.
Yeah, which we know that people are so imperfect.
Yep.
And God is perfect.
Yep.
So focus your eyes on God and not on the people.
Exactly. One thing that I was told ironically by a man who used to lead me specifically, is never follow man, follow principle, because man will always fail you. And I was like, yeah, dude, you lived up to that for real. But that's true, because at the end of the day, principle, the way I saw principle is truth, right? Truth. And what is truth? God. God is always the truth. And yeah, he's never laid astray. Every single thing that I've encountered, that me myself, when I try to carry it and figure it out myself, I always just end up figuratively falling to my knees and asking God, lead me here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're tough conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this came up to me, I don't even know, a few years back, but this is me trying to lead our family and our kids and everything. And I asked God, like, hey, God, lead me through the situation, because I don't know what to do. And what came to mind is, sometimes you just need to, what came to mind is Judas. And God saying, sometimes you just need to let them die. I'm like, what? Now, of course, context with it within where what I was applying it to is like, sometimes you just need to let them fail. That's essentially it.
Mm.
That was the key message, not literally die.
Yeah, I was like,
But the message is, sometimes you just need to let them fail, and at the end of the day, it's their choice, it's not yours. So you can't control it. You can do whatever like. That's why he brought up Judas, I guess, when I was talking to him in that sense, is because look what I did for him. Look, everything I did for him, every single thing I proved to him, or brought up. What was the guy's name that he brought back from the dead?
Lazarus?
Lazarus. Or he was there, like, cured so many people, and he still chose to do what he did.
Yeah.
So even me being the son of God, people still betrayed me. People still did this to me. They went whatever. So hey, like, if that happens to the man of God, what makes you think that's not gonna happen to you within your circle? Like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I mean about, you need someone to lead you, and at least for me, God has always, after going through so many other people, I landed in God, thankfully, and He's always led me, like, and even in those tough situations where, because I mean, as a leader, you have to make tough decisions and take the hits that come your way based on those hard decisions you make. However, at the end of the day, again, going back to God, He even said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." As a leader, you kind of have to do the same, where you make a tough decision, they your family reacts in whatever shape or form, and at the end of the day, you're in your mind, you have to be the one saying, "Forgive them, God, for they know not what they do."
Yeah.
Like, forgive them, forgive them, forgive them. They don't know what they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, but they don't know.
Yeah, and to bring it back to the whole thing about family, like that is a big reason why I'm able to be more submissive now,
Oh yeah.
because um my trust for God is, you know,
Yeah.
that I know that whenever you have a tough decision to make, you don't go ask a man, you go ask the man.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to Jesus being the perfect man,
Mm-hmm.
the perfect human. And I'm like, yeah, like you're being led by who you need to be led by,
Yeah.
right? Um so that allows me to let go of the control that I kind of like made myself take
Mm-hmm.
when I wasn't being led by the right man.
Yeah.
So, man, if you want your wife to be submissive, then you surrender.
The way that you want your wife to be submissive to you is the same way that you need to be submissive to God.
Exactly. Surrender to God. So,
And what is being submissive, what is surrendering, is literally taking something that's weighing heavy on you and giving it to somebody else for them to carry. And that's what I have proven to her with a bunch of things, our finances, our my ability to know how to communicate.
oh, I wanted to say, like, because you mentioned about me trusting you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's not that it just came out of nowhere. Like, obviously, this has been years of you taking action on things
Yeah.
that allowed me to be like, I can trust him. Like, he's proven himself to me. And what comes to mind is like at the beginning of our relationship, like you said, you've always been I'm gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it wasn't like I didn't have dreams. Like, yeah, I was going to school too,
Yeah.
right? But and I wanted to tell this to our kids when we gave you the belt, but the time when you would literally ride a bike to work
Mm.
to provide,
Yep.
to like make the financial, burden that we had like better.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about this for a long time, but I was like, dang, like, am I willing to ride a bike to work for that? I don't know. But you did.
Yeah.
And you didn't complain. You just did it.
Nope.
And it was like a really good, I don't know, how long did it take you to get to work?
Like an hour.
An hour like bike ride. And to some people it's like, oh, like that's nothing.
Yeah.
But to someone who was never like riding bikes before, to go from like, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do to get to work,
Yep.
and you did, like, that just like made me admire you more. So that was like the beginning of like me being like, okay, maybe I can trust him.
Mm.
And then everything that you've done ever since is just like there's no doubt.
Mm.
There's no doubt because you put your trust in God, and I'm like, I can trust him.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. At that time, yeah, the car was already broken down, right? That's why I had a bicycle.
Yeah. Your car was like,
Put it to the. It's already running on fumes.
yeah, but you still had to go to work.
It
And
literally died out of
I
nowhere.
don't know, was it because you went in earlier?
Why? Because we had a car. We had your car, but you worked at the time. So that's why I needed to get a second form of transportation, and the cheapest one was a bicycle.
I know, but was it because you would go in earlier
Yeah,
or
I went early in the morning, like 6 a.m.
and see, like that's what I mean. Like you could have easily been that man that was like, well, can you drop me off at work
Yeah,
before you go to work? Like
like making you get up
making me
earlier.
get up and
Yeah, again, it's um, it's seeing the weight that you need to carry, and you can be the, I don't want to call it lazy, but the lazy the lazy man, and be like, well, the most comfortable solution that I'm willing to get is going in early, but my wife has to take me, kind of thing.
yeah, like you weren't the man that was like it's an inconvenience for me, but I'd rather her be inconvenienced than me.
Hmm.
Or
Or look at it in the way like you should be thankful because
yeah, I
I'm
was
going
gonna
to
say
work.
like, oh, she should
I'm
be
doing
grateful
this.
that I'm gonna go work to provide.
Yeah.
Like, and I would have done it, and
And I
not in.
mean, that thought never
I
crossed
know
my
it
mind.
didn't. I know, and it never did for me either. But even just the fact that you didn't even ask, that it wasn't even in like part of a conversation of like, oh, maybe like you can drop me off at work sometimes,
Hmm.
maybe twice a week or whatever. Um, it wasn't even it wasn't even something that you thought about.
Yeah.
That just made me like respect you a little more and be open to the possibility that like you were the perfect man
For you.
for me.
But yeah, it's if you want your, again, if you want your wife to be submissive, right? And wives, if you want to be submissive to your husband, um, from the husband side, it's action, dude. Action. You have to continue to prove no matter what. Just because you're the husband, just because you signed there on the contract or whatever, or the certificate when you got married, just because you got married under God, doesn't automatically qualify you for your wife to be submissive. Is you continue to prove to her that she can be submissive. And then it's up to her to be submissive, right? And it's also, in a way, also teach her how to, and let her know, like, hey, I got this. Like, you don't have to, like, it's on me. You don't have to carry that weight. Like I tell my wife often is my goal with her is to empty out her plate so that the only thing on her plate is me. And she has only time to focus on me.
You can't get rid of the kids.
I know, but um, that's like my goal is like, okay, what do you need me to carry for you
Yeah.
so that you can have space and time mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually for me, because we are important
Yeah.
and we need to be important. So, what can I help you with that is getting in the way of that, to so that we can come back to each other?
Mhm.
And you have to, again, continue no matter what. It's a responsibility. A lot of one of my our most viral clips was when I said that men want to be treated like kings, but they're not willing to do what kings do to be treated like kings. And a lot of men took it out of context. They say, "Well, kings are brutal and dictators and things like that." Like, that's not a king, dude. That's not a real king. I'm talking about, again, the King of Kings, Jesus Christ.
God is king.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the only king that you need to be.
if because that's honestly that's how I, at the risk of sounding what, arrogant and ignorant and possibly even like, um what do they call those people, like a show off.
Mhm.
I truly see myself as that, as a king of this house, but not in the sense of like, look at me, look at my crown, listen to me kind of thing, because I'm the ruler of this home. Is This is a responsibility. Like my belt, that's kind of like my crown. But when I look at the belt, yes, it's a gift. It represents how much my wife appreciates me and things like that. But it's also a reminder of what I'm responsible for. Of
Mm-hmm.
everything that she appreciates, I need to continue. I need to continue and grow and be better and all that stuff. Because that's the way I see being a king, being a leader. Like, again, because that's what he taught. He's not one of those like, look at me, I'm God, only worship me kind of thing. Is he came down literally, showed us how to be human, how he meant us to be human.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, well, I'm gonna listen to you because you're the King of Kings. And the byproduct of that is my wife is submissive to me because I'm being led by someone who is perfect. And
Yeah.
that's with anything as well, with other relationships. Let's say you're not believing in God or whatever, you don't go to church and all that stuff. Your spouse is still looking to see what you're being led by.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't like it, she's gonna not be submissive. She's gonna be in control because she wants to. Each human wants to be led by something to a certain extent, and if your spouse wants to be led in this direction, even if she doesn't know that's the direction she wants to go to, or she doesn't know how to express it, or whatever, she's still being led to a certain extent. And if you're not leading her down that path, she's gonna stray away from you and go find her wherever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I find it so crucial in relationships for men to get back in that role of king. Again, as king, as being the responsibility of being the one who is taking all the punches, carrying all the weight that you need to, so that the people that are in your care are well taken care of. That's why I tell my wife whenever I'm having a tough time, or even I even pray to God, if I'm meant to carry this weight, give me the strength. If I'm not, allow me to drop it. And I tell my wife, like, if I'm meant to carry all this weight, pray for the strength, for God to give me the strength to do so. And so far He has, and I like to believe, and it's proven time and time again that our belief in God and the fact that I'm being led by Him has allowed us to have a very fruitful relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And
again, she was not submissive at all. I want you to understand that.
I want you to understand that submissive doesn't mean I do what he tells me.
No,
What does it mean?
she's a good girl. Um, it means that you trust. You trust me with certain decisions. Like one big thing again, because men again, she was not submissive. Multiple men that before me failed her again and again. So she has a lot of reasons to not be submissive, right? But I was the one to prove to her again and again that, hey, with me you can. Because not like you can be submissive to anybody.
Yeah.
Like you have to be submissive with the person who is allowing you the space to be submissive. What was your question? Sorry, I don't know where I was
What
going.
does it submissive
Oh yeah,
mean?
um, is that you trust. It's like the best way that I can put it is financially. We have 4 kids, right? That requires like a certain amount of finances. We live in this house, so on and so forth. You're not working
Mm-hmm.
because you're trusting. You're being submissive to the fact that I'm the one that's taking care of that.
That you're not gonna let us starve.
Exactly. That I'm taking care of everything when it comes to that.
Yeah.
For us to have food, have shelter, have clothes, have a bed.
What's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not like the type of girl that is like, oh, well, you need to be buying me like brand name bags and red bottom shoes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
even though you still would.
Yeah, it would. But again, if she does go that part, it will be my job as the leader of the relationship to be like, get back here. Just kidding. I don't snap my fingers at you.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. But yeah, it's not that I do what he says. It's that, and like I'm very vocal.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like something, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I tell you in a better, like I say it better now, but
Yeah.
um it's having, like you said, that trust.
Yeah.
And not just with finances, like even the biggest thing I think that I had to like be able to let go of, control and trust is with my son,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because again, I didn't bring him up with him knowing about God.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't trust a man to be the person to,
To
help
lead it.
to raise him and to lead him.
Yeah.
And because I didn't do a good job in bringing him up with God, like he didn't have that relationship of like, oh, well, you can look up to him.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing was like, can I trust this man to lead my firstborn,
Yeah.
my baby boy?
Yeah.
And that was like the hardest one, I think. That took way longer
Yeah.
of me being able to be like, okay, like I trust you 100%. To the point that now, like, he even sees it like, oh, like, mom is not gonna, I can't like split mom and dad
Mm-hmm.
because they are like together.
Yep.
And she trusts him a lot. So what dad says goes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it's not what dad says goes, but if dad said this, and that's what he goes, because you trust enough that what I
yeah,
said,
it go. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that like,
it's
oh,
not
it's
at all.
because you're like, if I don't agree with something, I first talk to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and not in a sense of like, hey, I don't like what you're doing. It's like, okay, why are you doing this? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of this? Because a lot of times I don't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not a man. I don't know how you guys think. I don't know how you guys
Her
feel.
nature.
So it's like what is the whole, why are you doing this? And then
No.
once you explain, I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, hey, that's what dad said.
Yep.
Do it,
Yep.
dude.
I mean, that's another topic for a different podcast when it comes to parenting, but I did hear it from a psychologist. I think she's a psychologist. Someone that has to do with the mind, and therapist maybe. But she said that at a certain point, dad has to save the kids from the grasp of mom.
Yeah.
So yeah, mommy boys, boy moms. What do they call them? You can't be a mommy's boy,
A mama's boy.
a mama's boy.
Yeah.
It hurts you more in the end than it helps.
Yeah.
Yes, being a mommy's boy, dude, you're gonna have a very easy life. But what about when mom's gone? And that's how I've been wanting to, and I've been doing, like raising our kids. I was like, hey, dude, the only one you can truly depend on is God.
Yeah. We
'Cause,
tell them that all the time.
yeah, because there's gonna be a time where, like, guaranteed, mom and dad are gonna be gone. Guaranteed. When that happens, I have no idea. God willing, we live a very long life together, where you can use it as a support. However, depending on us, dude, you're guaranteed to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to raise our kids to like, hey, do what you need to do, and the only one that you can trust is God to be along there with you 100% of the time. Because even, let's say God doesn't take us, right? Even when you're out there in the real world, It's just you, dude. You can call up mom. Yeah, you may be able to. However, mom is not going to get you out of the situation. I'm not going to get you out of the situation. You got to learn how to fly with your own wings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere around us. It's nature. It's part of nature. I don't know why we're trying to ignore it.
Yeah.
The pigeon pushes whatever birdie off the nest so that the bird can fly, and if it dies, it dies. Okay. No, but you know
Oh
what I
my
mean. Like
gosh.
they push him,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
out, get out the door, like fly, go
Yeah.
build your own nest, go build your village, be the king of your own kingdom, kind of thing. Because yeah, that's it's not that we don't want our kids with us. It's we want them with us. That's the natural thing of a parent is like these are my bunch, and I created them, kind of thing, and I raised them.
Yeah.
But long term, it's gonna hurt them more because you're not letting them experience what they need to experience outside of you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're stealing their self image, their self esteem, their self confidence by keeping them and taking care of everything for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to realize how much I was hurting him.
Yeah, when I heard that from another podcast that I heard, I was like, Sasquatch. that hit, that hit deep. Like you're building your self esteem as a parent by stealing theirs. I'm like, dang,
That's a topic for another show.
darn, darn, cliffhanger. But yes, the number one thing in our relationship is God. And dude, I'm talking to the dudes right now. I don't mean you have to go to church every Sunday. I don't mean you have to, I don't know, whatever. Whatever thing that is running through your mind of like, oh, I have to do this kind of thing is doing the required work for you to have a relationship with God. For me, it's very simple. I carry this rosary on my wrist. As soon as I see that, God, I pray with my daughters every single night before the bed. I pray before the bed before I go to sleep. In the mornings, the first thing that I do is listen to Bible in a Year. And to be honest, sometimes I have no idea what they said, but I know God, 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 God. So it's whatever brings you back to Him, to center in a sense, to keep Him top of mind, like He's the one that's leading you, and He's the one that's keeping you accountable as well.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, I'm able to keep myself accountable without an actual physical human being in front of me. Sometimes that helps. If that helps you, go ahead. That's why there's religions. That's why there's church. For you to go to a place where God is there and people around you to help you keep accountable as well. But God is, church is not the only place where God is. Church, God, I found God, or I've built a closer relationship to God away from church, if you can believe that. The church is just for me to, again, God, God, God. The sign of the cross brings me back to Him. Anytime there's negative thoughts or anything like that, who do I seek for? God.
God. Yeah. Same. And because we both are like God, God,
Yeah.
it's like,
He's always in our mind.
yeah.
It's always repetitive. Now it's a habit,
And
which
and
is
there was
good.
even a time where like when we were really struggling in our relationship that we started praying out loud together.
Hmm.
Remember that?
Yes.
You don't?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Like before breakfast and stuff, or
no, no, no. Like there was a time where you and I were struggling because of everything that had came out. That we were so hurt by each other
hmm.
that you can feel that there was like some type of disconnection. And we started praying together out loud.
When was this? What happened?
Maybe when you told me about your addiction and
Oh,
I told you about my stuff.
Mm. Yeah, because again, um,
But when we would pray, we wouldn't pray like we would pray for each other.
yeah, like give her the strength to overcome the
And it was out
struggles.
loud.
Yeah,
And I think like that really helped us like center ourselves and see each other's perspective and you know do what God teaches us to do, to forgive and
yeah,
love and kindness and grace and
yeah,
all the things.
yeah, and that's why I'm encouraging you, man, to find whatever practices take you back to Him. Because the way that I picture it, when people ask me about like, is church really necessary? And to a certain extent, yes. But if let's say the flood were to happen right now, churches are wiped off, buildings are wiped off, you're in the ark, kind of thing, and you're by yourself. Does that mean you're lost? That does mean that you can't connect to God anymore. Like, no, you can connect to God.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whatever helps you connect to God. If it's a church, by all means, go to church because that's at least that's what helped me to get back to Him. And when it comes to like teaching our kids, I hate when people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna let them grow up
And decide for
and decide for
themselves.
themselves."
Oh
Like,
my gosh, I wanted to mention that, but like, why? Why do you feel like that?
cause that is so stupid. It's like telling a kid, "Do you want to go to school or not?" I'm not gonna force them to go to school. They're gonna
Exactly.
decide once they grow up if they want to learn math or not. Like, bro, you kidding me?
Yeah, and you know what? Like I relate to that because when I wasn't baptized, it was because my mom would always say like, "Oh no, I haven't baptized her because I want her to choose."
Hmm. You have to
Yeah. So
teach them to
then
choose, bro.
once we like had our kids, like we just started baptizing them because it was like, okay, you can choose, but I'm gonna teach you our faith right now because if later on you have nothing else that you've learned,
Exactly.
at least you've learned what we know
Yep.
and what we believe in our faith.
And if they ask, well, why is it that, or why is it not this? Like, because that's what we were taught, dude. If I learned 2 + 2 = 4, I'm not gonna teach you 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna teach you what I
Teach,
know
yeah,
that has
what we
helped
know.
me. You do what you want once you have the free will, bro, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. Exactly. Exactly. But like, don't just be like, oh, I'm not gonna. Like, and it's funny because I remember that same teacher saying, like, or just another teacher, like, well, do you give when your kids need a vaccine, do you give them the choice? Do you ask them, do you want the vaccine or no? No, like, you make the decision whether you vaccinate them or not, right?
Just go ahead. Sorry.
So like that made me think like, oh, that's true. I've never even asked my kid, but why would I? Because I know what's best for him.
Mm-hmm.
At least like when it comes to God, I know, hey, you're not learning anything bad.
Yeah.
You're learning about God.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
Just think of all the adults, all the westernized adults, I guess. They have the free will. Just look at them. Don't you think they need a little bit of someone to keep them accountable? Someone to tell them, like, hey, don't go over there, go here. Someone to
Who are the westernized adults?
America, Canada, some European
Oh,
countries where, like, the Western culture, they've adapted kind of thing.
what's the Western culture?
This is culture, America.
Huh?
America.
I don't get it.
Our culture. We have so much freedom.
Oh, uh huh.
And what are people doing with this freedom?
Yeah.
People are so depressed. They're so anxious nowadays. Relationships, again, are going down the hill.
Mm.
And for someone, again, another adult to be like, I'm going to let my kid decide. I'm like, look at all the adults right now, dude. They have their free will. They're not doing what they can. Even if they have the free will, what makes you think a kid is going to decide right?
Yeah.
I mean, some do, surprisingly. But if you're the parent, you're the one that's meant to lead them. You're the one setting the example.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to follow you regardless. You're like their number one quote unquote religion. And yeah, at the end of the day, they're going to decide, like, okay, I like what my dad did, so I'm going to continue doing that, even if it's bad for me. Because that's the only thing I learned. Because they learned through your example.
Yeah.
Or they can be like, I hate what my dad did, and they can go follow their own path. I mean, it's a good path, good. If it's a bad path, then again, that's still on them. At the end of the day, they will decide regardless. Your job as a parent is to putting the seeds that they need to go ahead and have for once that you're not in their life 24/7. At least they're there, instead of having them to rebuild it and or find the seeds somewhere and things like that.
Yeah.
Sorry about my rant. I just thought that was so dumb.
It's okay.
I'm gonna let them decide to drink water when they want to drink water. If they want Kool-Aid for all their life, like, yeah, okay. Now they have diabetes and they're barely 5 years old, and I have to take them to the hospital.
Are you done?
Just so dumb, babe.
I know. Like, no, I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to, but then I was like, I don't know. But I'm glad you did because, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, and like, it all brings it back to like when they get older and they're in their own relationship,
Yep.
you know, they're gonna need God. They definitely are going to need, everybody needs God because life is hard at times. There's a lot of struggles people go through, and nobody else is gonna be there for them but God.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How are you gonna let a child who believes in Santa Claus choose if they would like to decide to believe in God?
Oh, wow. True, you're teaching them to believe in Santa, but you don't want to
Or
teach
the
them to
Tooth
believe in
Fairy,
God.
or the whatever
That's a good
bunny.
point.
Like, you have to teach them, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna teach them regardless through your own example, one
Yeah.
way or the other. Might as well be proactive about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all of that to say that
God is a priority.
God is definitely a priority for us. He's proving himself to us before we got married, while we were in a relationship. To this day, he continues to deliver, and he doesn't ask for anything in return. That's the best thing that I learned from him, is that, like, I'm just giving to you, dude. It's up to you to take, and I'm not even asking for anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's literally not asking for anything in return.
Yeah.
He's not asking me to, like, be religious. He's not asking me to worship him 24/7 or give my life to whatever, to the church. He just continues to give and lead me in the direction he needs me to go ahead and fulfill his will, at least I think. And it's up to me to continue to receive his gift and believe in him and have faith out of my own accord.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he gave us a free will.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So,
that is why very independent women who was not submissive at all, because again, she couldn't be with the other men, so she was taught to not be submissive and that she had to take care of herself, because men will continue to fail her again and again and again. And there is times where I felt her, right? But then I've built so much, I've deposited so much good into our marriage bank account, where, like, the times where I mentioned the addiction to you, you knew it wasn't out of malice or wanting to hurt or anything like that. It was
yeah.
like, this was a man that has already surrendered this to God. He's just bringing it to light to me now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you, like, God is telling me to tell you this kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if I told you that. But yeah, he was the one that said, like, you need to bring this up to her.
Hmm. Look at us now.
Look at us now. We're making it.
Yeah.
And it's just doing the work. Again, men, if you want your wife to be submissive to you, then you have to be submissive to the Lord. Because she needs to trust that you're being led by something good.
Yeah.
And you need to show her through action.
Important.
Yep. Continuously. It's not just one day to the next. Okay.
Years and years of it.
Yep. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
This was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did it.
Me too.
Thanks for being in my living room.
But yeah, as you can see, guys, we're very passionate about this topic because marriages are a dying breed nowadays, good marriages, and we want to save them as much as possible. And this is the one way that we know that has made our relationship fruitful. And it's just Him, really. It's trusting in God and believing in Him and practicing anything that we can to go back to Him
Yeah.
again and again. On an individual basis, but also in our marriage and as a family as well.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. It's believe in God, find practices that take you back to Him, learn about Him. That's the biggest thing that has helped me is learn about Jesus Christ Himself, and how He led His people, everything that He encountered, and what He did to come out the other end better. Because at least that's what's helped me, like find specific scenarios in our life, tying it back to the scenarios that He went through, and be like, oh, okay, that's what He did. I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sounds good.
So I don't know why I'm starting to choke.
So, what were you going to say? I don't know, but
God is shutting me up now.
God is like, okay, it's enough, Moises. No, I'm really glad that we did this topic today, especially because it's, some of the first episodes, and, God is going to lead this show.
Yep.
Just how
It's
He
all for
leads
Him.
our marriage.
It is all for Him. As you can see, there's scripture on the walls, specifically one for wives and the one for husbands.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us in our living room.
See you all next time.
Bye.